Plaintiff Melissa Napati says she's here today because the defendant, who's her cousin, is controlling and jealous. Melissa claims she bought a wedding ring for the defendant and she promised to repay her. But she's only repaid Melissa for a portion of it. Defendant Shannon McLean says the real reason she's in court today is because while she was in the hospital, Melissa sent pornographic pictures to Shannon's husband. Shannon says Melissa's boyfriend, who's with her in court today, is a racist and controls Melissa's every move. And she's countersuing for storage fees and mental anguish.
All right, start with you.
Your Honor, I believe that we are here today because of Shannon's controlling and jealous behavior. When I moved to Washington State in 2008, we became friends and we were close. However, during that time, I saw her lose 4 of her close friends because they refused to play by her rules.
That's not correct, Your Honor.
And she actually had to move out of her ex-sister-in-law's house because of issues that she had with them, and because she didn't agree to their house rules and felt that they should agree.
Let me allow her to give some background. She keeps saying it's not true.
That's not true, Your Honor. We're here today because of the issues my cousin has sending pornographic pictures to my husband's phone when I was in the ICU room at the hospital. I was playing with my husband's phone, going through pictures, and come upon pictures of her naked, doing inappropriate things to herself. And when both of them...
What do you determine is appropriate or not?
She was... she was playing with herself, Your Honor.
What's inappropriate about that?
Well, it's because it's to my husband's phone.
Oh, what did it say? Sending the pictures was inappropriate. You said she was doing things that were inappropriate.
It was inappropriate sending it to my husband's phone.
Now, that part was inappropriate, I believe.
When they were both approached by it, she told me that it was sent to my husband's phone by mistake and that it was meant for her boyfriend. I could see it if it was 1 picture, but it was 5 that got sent to his phone. So I find that really hard to believe.
When you asked them about it, what were you told?
Well, my husband was distraught. To this day, we still...
He was distraught that he saw the pictures, or he was distraught that he got caught?
I don't know. To this day, I really
Tell me what he did exactly, or said.
He fell to the floor and his face went
fell to the floor.
And his face went into his hands.
And his face what?
Fell to his hands. Like he couldn't believe what was going on, Your Honor. And furthermore, as far as what she's talking about, we moved out of that house because all of them are very heavy drinkers, and a lot of them,
like yourself,
are swingers.
That's inappropriate activity?
Well, it's disgusting to me.
All right.
Okay.
Do you first want to discuss the pictures?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defend yourself?
I was dating a guy at the time. I was scrolling through my phone. I was actually driving while I was doing it. I sent the pictures. And so I know that's wrong.
No, you were driving while you were sending the text.
The text pictures. I had them saved. They were saved in a file, so all 5 of them got sent at the exact same time. And she confronted me at the hospital, and I believe this was several days after the pictures were sent. So if he was so distraught about it, why
was him?
Yes.
Yeah. Come on up. He has something to say about it. And then we're getting to the wedding ring and loan.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, the only reason I hadn't said anything to Melissa was because I figured that would be more appropriate for Shannon to deal with after she got out of the hospital. That's why I didn't say anything to her about it, as far as starting an argument with her, hey, why did you send them to my phone?
Yeah. And you were going to tell her?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You're a lie.
No, actually, I'm not.
You're going to keep looking. Why didn't you erase them?
Because I wanted my wife to see him so she could deal with
wouldn't take your word?
Probably not.
You wanted to speak? State your name.
Donald Walbaum.
You are her boyfriend.
Now.
Did you get a copy of the pictures?
No, but I think these were sent before I knew. I don't know, these were sent before I met you guys, right?
No, you were actually dating her at the time that they got sent.
Is it before or after you borrowed the money for the ring?
We're not talking about that yet. We're talking about that.
I just want to know why it's relevant. They were chummy friends, but it bothers her now.
That could be relevant if she says that's one of the motivations for the breakup of their friendship, and the result of the breakup of their friendship is this dispute.
Well, if she
Your
was
Honor,
that upset about
the
it.
dispute lies with the gentleman that's standing there with her. He, is white power proud and KKK proud. In his beliefs, in the way he is, I feel has off-rubbed onto Melissa.
How so? How do you know he's all that?
But you can walk into their house. He's got his little certification up on the wall. She wasn't allowed to come to our Christmas party at our home because we have good friends that are African American, and he didn't want her there because he didn't trust her.
That is not true.
Well, he let her come today, and I'm African American.
Tell him to pull up his sleeves.
And he hadn't left the country.
Tell him to pull up his sleeves.
Country is run by a black man.
Yes, it is.
And he wouldn't want to be under the authority of a black man. He skipped country the day after the election.
But she's sitting here and she's trying to say that she's sitting here and she's trying to say that I'm controlling. You can only hear someone cry wolf so many times over.
All right, you want to address that, sir?
My boyfriend's beliefs has nothing to do with why I stopped hanging around them.
Yes, it did.
I agree. Well, you're saying it doesn't. She says it does. Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, if she was so distraught and her husband was so distraught about the pictures, then why was I continuously asked to still come over to the house? I cooked for her and
Let's get to the wedding ring and the loan.
In the process of all this, after I moved here in July 28th, she was having to move out of her ex-sister-in-law's house, and she came to me and asked me for $1,000 for a loan for a down payment on a house for a deposit. I agreed with the stipulation that I would get the money back in September. In September, October, and November, she kept trying to get a personal loan to try and pay me back, and I was told that she couldn't get it. Then all of a sudden in December, she was able to get the personal loan, but couldn't pay me back all of what she owed me, only $500. So the week before Christmas, I got $500 of it. In January 14th, I went to her house to get some more money, and I was told that she could only pay me $100. And she's got a brand new flat screen TV. She has a second vehicle in the driveway, and she's got a $300 Gucci purse and wallet, and has over $1,000 worth of family photos, but she can't pay me.
What about this wedding ring you're suing for?
We were at the mall, and I had made the comment that I had a credit card for this particular jewelry store that we were walking by, and she said, oh, I don't even have a wedding ring. I would like to have a real one.
What month was this?
November 11th.
As she owed you money already?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
And we went in, she bought the ring. She was supposed to make the difference. I had payments already on the card. She was to pay the difference from what I was paying to whatever the new charges were going to be. It came out to $20 a month. I since then have paid my portion off.
She was to pay you the 20?
Well, me or going to the store and pay the 20. She agreed to go to the store.
How many months did she pay?
Every month, Your Honor.
Why?
No, you have not.
Ma'am?
She paid December, January, and February, and a payment has not been made since February.
Okay, so she is missing March
and April.
$20 each.
Yes. However, since that Wednesday, the 21st, I paid my portion off. The minimum payment is $105, and even though my stuff's paid off and her stuff is still on the credit card, the minimum payment is still $105. So that is what has to be paid on the credit card.
Yeah, but you told her you were going to pay it off early, your portion, and therefore she would have to increase her payment to $100.
I didn't tell her I was paying it off
All right,
early.
ma'am, tell me about the ring and the loan.
Okay, so starting out with the ring, I have documentation here showing, I'm looking at March 29th, the receipt of the payment, $45. Here's the receipt showing that I paid it.
Let's see that, please.
As far as April, I went 2 days before we traveled and got told that they weren't going to accept my payments anymore because of
Let's get to the loan.
Nonsense. As far as the loan, everything was verbal between us. She told me that I can pay back how much I can when I can, and that's what we've been doing. Dealing with the health issues and my husband being a full-time student, we're on a very
Sounds like you made a pretty good effort, ma'am. Now, let's get to this March and April. She's shown me a $45 payment that was made March 29th. You said
I made the payment.
No.
My payment was $45. That's
when? Because you told me you paid it off. Your emotional distress and storage fees are for what? Mental anguish.
Storage fees, because we've been storing her stuff in our home since August of 09
No,
to
sir.
January of 2010 because of her
August through January. What was the
2010.
agreement?
The agreement was...
There was no
Yes,
agreement.
there was an agreement,
What was the
Melissa.
agreement?
The agreement was that she needed to come get her stuff out of the house
When?
within 30 days.
That was
and
not
then
the
she
agreement.
started dating him, and he didn't like
When
all
the
of
30
her...
days expired, what did you say to her?
I tried to email her. I tried to call her and tell her to come get her stuff out.
That is incorrect.
And
No,
what
it is not
happened?
incorrect. Got no response back, Your
When
Honor.
did you start doing that?
In January.
All right.
Okay.
And why did you wait until January? That was all right with you up until that time?
Well, because of all these issues between us, I
But
just,
obviously it was all right because you didn't contact her until January about her things. I'm not going to grant you storage fees. There was no agreement. And if you did not contact her between August and January, I have to assume that it was all right up until that point. If there's no agreement on the amount of time, then it's a reasonable amount of time it should be based on. And if it is not picked up in a reasonable amount of time, then it is considered abandoned, at which point you can either keep it or throw it away. So I'm going to conclude that a reasonable amount of time has not expired since the time you told her to come and get it in January. Do you intend to go and get it, and when?
Actually, Your Honor, what happened was I moved
Where
in.
is it?
she's got
I have it.
Okay. When
And
did you
I
pick
picked it up.
In
I picked it up
Good
January
enough.
21st. She offered.
$400 is your judgment, ma'am. That's enough. Have a good day. Your claim is dismissed. Your counterclaim.
She's jealous and controlling and felt that she can't control me anymore because I actually got a life and she doesn't.
controlling. I am so happy that she's not in my life right now because I don't have to deal with that, of what type of person he is and what type of person he's made her to be. She's closed herself off from everybody. It's all about what Donnie wants, when Donnie wants it, who can be over at their house, what type of belongings she has in the house, who she can speak to, who she can't. She wants to talk about controlling, she needs to look next to her.
She's a nutcase. That's all I have to say. Yeah, that sounded pretty controlling to me, actually.
Go ahead, honey.
I'm not going to sit here and name bash and call people, stupid names.